right here at the beginning of Psalm 23, David refers to the Lord as my shepherd. It's a really interesting description for God. It's really rarely used throughout Scripture. In fact, there's only one other place in the entire Bible that we see an individual referring to God this way, calling God my shepherd. And I have to believe that David was aware of that and was reminding us of that in writing these words. At the end of Genesis, Jacob is 147 years old. He's on his deathbed. And he has his son Joseph and his grandsons in front of him, and he's about to give them a blessing. And right before he gives them the blessing, he introduces it by talking about God and his relationship to the Lord. And he says, "The God before whom my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, walked, the God who was my shepherd from my birth until this day." This is a very powerful statement coming from Jacob in particular. You know, Jacob didn't have a trouble-free life. He actually had a lot of difficulties. At a young age, he had to run away from home when his brother Esau wanted to kill him. And then he had a lot of trouble with his uncle Laban. And then when he returns home, he has to encounter his brother's army again. Shortly thereafter, his wife dies, and then his son goes missing. He thinks he's dead. And 22 years later, he discovers he's alive, but as a result of a famine in the land, he has to uproot himself. At the age of 130, he has to uproot himself and move down to Egypt. He had a difficult life. So for Jacob on his deathbed to say that the Lord sheltered me from all harm and call the Lord his shepherd is really a very powerful statement. What Jacob is saying is, I was going through hard times, but now when I look back on it, I see that it was all for the good, that God had my best interests in mind. He was protecting me. And that's what David is telling us here in Psalm 23. He's not telling us we're going to have a trouble-free life. He's saying there will be trouble, there will be crises, there's going to be the valley of the shadow of death, there's going to be enemies, but we have nothing to fear. We lack nothing because the Lord is our shepherd.